Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard 8th edition video. Today we will be looking at the early leak of the Imperial Guard Index, Codex, whatever you want to call it. And today we'll be going over the beginning of the elite choices for the Imperial Guard. And there are some real interesting choices here, guys. Really interesting what we're seeing here. Today's video is mostly going to be focused on infantry. And I can tell you now, again, this is very just interesting, very different to what we've seen in any other Imperial Guard Codex. So let's get on with it. Okay. So number one, we have the Master of Ordnance. So the Master of Ordnance is no longer a individual sort of advisor that is part of your command squad. Nope, he is now his own separate dude. And he is a character, and his stats are pretty basic. He has a movement of 6, weapon skill 4+, ballistic skill 3+, strength, toughness of 3, wounds 3, interestingly, attacks 2, leadership 6, save 5+. Okay, now he comes with a las pistol and a las pistol only, but he also has an artillery barrage. Now, I'm having a look at this, and I believe that, yeah, the artillery barrage, I've got the points up on another screen here, guys. The artillery barrage is free, and the Master of Ordnance himself costs 38 points. Okay, so he's had a price hike again. He's gone, I think he was... Oh no, he was 20 points the last Codex, wasn't he? And now he's 38 points. So 38 points is pretty pricey. Now he has gained an additional 2 wounds. But that's it. And his, unfortunately guys, the Master of Ordnance has been nerfed heavily. I don't think I'll be using it. Because previously you were able to call in his artillery bombardment every single turn. And that was the cool thing about it, because Space Marines had a one shot, one use artillery bombardment, but it was really powerful. And the Imperial Guard had a barrage with the Master of Ordnance that you could call in every turn, but it was weaker. Now the Master of Ordnance's artillery barrage can only be fired once per battle. Once he's fired it, that's it. And the strength of the weapon has been reduced. So now it's only strength 8. Its AP is -2, which is about right. Its damage is D3. And its heavy D6. So essentially, guys, you don't need... Again, it can only be fired once per battle. It cannot be used in the bearer moves standard. The weapon can target units that are not visible. And it may only use the one barrage per turn, regardless of how many Massive Ordinances you have in your army. So guys, if you were thinking, I'm going to take like 8 of these motherfuckers and launch like 8 barrages in one turn, you can't do that. So you can only use one barrage per turn. It's interesting, right? Because he hits on a 3+ and there's no scatter. So you roll a dice for the number of shots you get, which is, again, let's not get into it. I hate this D6 thing for blasts, but whatever. So on average, you're going to get 3 shots. You're going to hit with 2 of them. And then you're going to do potentially 2 damage on average. So that's pretty good. But I don't feel like it's worth 38 points. I feel like he should have stayed 20 points. Because it's just not that good. It's just honestly not that good. He does have an interesting ability though. Master of Ballistics. You can re-roll hit rolls of 1 made for any friendly basilisk, wyverns, manticores, or death strikes when they target enemy units over 36 inches away in the shooting phase, or if they are within 3 inches of this model. That's useless, guys. That is useless. Let me explain why. Because over 36 inches is actually a really long distance. Like, the majority of enemy models are going to deploy 18 inches away from you. So that massive ballistics ability is essentially useless. If it had been all the time they get to reroll ones, that would have been fine. But you don't. The enemy has to be really far away. So, unfortunately, not off to a great start. You know, bit of a terrible model, the Massive Ordnance. I will not be using them anymore. It's a shame, because I loved my one-man Basilisk. That's what he was. I used to run 2 of these guys fairly regularly, and whilst his bombardment is more accurate now, I mean, you can't deny that. It's more accurate. But it is just... it's a bit useless. One-shot weapons are just not a good idea. You know, just a bad idea. So, I'm going to be honest, guys. Leave the Massive Ordnance at home now. That's it. Next one is a lot more promising, a lot more hopeful. The Platoon Commander. So yes, guys, the Platoon Commander is now an elite choice. Praise be to the Emperor. Praise be to the Emperor. This means, guys, in a brigade detachment where you can get like 5 HQs and like 9 elites or something crazy, you can just field 10 officers. You can field so many officers now, and it's just amazing. Let's go through this guy's stats, because I can see myself running a lot of Platoon Commanders, guys. Overall, this is a little spoiler. Overall, I can see the elite choice part of the codex go from being one of the least used, as it is in 7th edition, to one of the most hotly contested, thanks to things like Platoon Commanders. Okay, anyway, let's carry on. Stats, movement 6, of course, weapon skill 3+, great, ballistic skill 3+, fantastic, strength 3, toughness 3, brilliant, wounds 3, fucking yeah! That guy just went from 1 wound to 3 wounds, attacks 3, yes please, leadership 7, save 5+, boom! And all of that, guys, all of that, what you heard, if I'm reading this correctly, costs 20 points. Platoon Commander, 20 points. Holy shit. That's a tasty deal. Again, guys, another buff for the infantry. Officers and orders in this edition are going to be off the fucking chain, guys. Mass infantry guard, backed up by some specialist vehicles, not necessarily Lehman Russes, but specialist vehicles, are going to be fucking tasty. Let's see what else we can get. So, the Platoon Commander, Las Pistol Chainsaw, Frag Grenades. We know what the Las Pistol does. This guy can also take a shotgun. Awesome. I am telling you now, no self-respecting Katachan player will be able to go to battle without multiple Platoon Commanders using shotguns. I'm sorry, Katachan players. I don't want to hear your excuses. I want you to be running shotguns on every officer you can get your hands on, because they're fucking cool. Okay? Go out and model them. Buy some third-party bits. The fact that we are being given shotguns just liberally everywhere is fantastic, because shotguns are cool. Shotguns are so cool. Can't get over it enough. I think I have the points cost for shotguns if I can find it. It shouldn't be too bad. Oh, yeah, not too bad at all. It costs a whopping 0 points, guys. 0 points. So, I'm sorry. There's literally... it's just so crazy, isn't it? There's literally no point in using a Las Pistol anymore. Look at the shotgun, 12-inch range, assault 2. Look at the pistol, 12-inch range, pistol 1. There is never any point in using a pistol now. If you are going to have officers and you don't want to give them any upgrades, buy them a shotgun. Now, you can take Ashmilitar melee weapons. You can take, you can swap with pistol with a shotgun or an item from the Ashmilitar range weapons list. So, you know, you can still use your bolt pistols, your bolters, and your plasma pistol guys. That's brilliant. Abilities, Voice of Command, so we can do one order. And Refractor Shield. Yes, Refractor Shield is back on the Junior Officer 5+ Invulnerable save. Guys, This is awesome. My dick is slightly hard. Not slightly hard. My dick is ragingly hard because I used to love having a 5+ save on my junior officers. It was awesome. And that's been brought back. And he's got more wounds. And he can take a shotgun. And his orders go off automatically. And he's an elite choice. Holy shit, guys. I'm tingling. I'm so happy. That's amazing. Just to go back to the last video, though, I forgot to mention that the company commander is only 30 points. So when comparing a company commander to a platoon commander, it's actually, there's not a huge difference. Company commanders have got an extra wound and an extra leadership and an extra order. But that's it. So if you're a kind of person that likes to use your tank commanders and you're a bit like, oh, I don't want to be running company commanders all the time, but I still want orders, well, you can. Now you can take orders and considering there's no such thing as senior officer orders or junior officer orders anymore, they're all just the same. That's just fantastic. So you can still you can still go in your brigade detachment and take 5 Lehman Russ tank commanders and use those as your Lehman Russes now, and still be able to issue plenty of orders by filling out your elite section with platoon commanders. So guys, I know it was a bit doom and gloom in the last video about, regular Lehman Russes being fucked. That's because you're never ever going to use regular Lehman Russes anymore. You're always going to use tank commanders. Think of it this way. Your tank commanders are essentially your veteran crews now. Don't think of them as an HQ choice. Think of them as a veteran crew. Because what you want to do, if you like Lehman Russes and you like infantry, what you want to do is you want to fill out your HQ choices with tank commanders for your ballistic skill 3+ Lehman Russes. Yes, tasty. Gets around all the problems I've got with Lehman Russes. You still want orders? Fill out your elite section with platoon commanders. Still throw down 5 or 6 orders every turn. And then you get onto your troops section. Plenty and plenty of infantry. So, awesome. However, let's address the elephant in the room, guys. There's no more platoons. I never thought I'd see the day, guys. But platoons now no longer exist. And that's really sad. I know we've had a lot of excitement, we've got to bring it down now. We lost command squads, as in, I know you can see it right in front of you in the page, but what I mean is we lost the ability to take officers with our command squads. That was sad. And now we've lost the ability to take platoons. That made Guard unique. Games Workshop, if you're hearing this, I want platoons to come back. Because now the problem is that a regular infantry squad takes up a full troops choice, and that's just not good enough. That means, we'll talk about it in the troops video, but that does mean that if you want to take regular infantry and you don't want to use conscripts in a battalion, the new CAD, you can only take 60 infantry. That's just not good. It's just not good, Games Workshop. It's just not good. The more and more I look at it, and we're going to go back to happy stuff soon, but the more and more I'm looking at the Guard reveals, and the Guard leaks, I should say, the more and more it's looking like the brigade, or whichever the bigger detachment is, the one where you've got to take loads of stuff, that's going to be our new go-to formation, guys. You'll see why as the leaks come along, but the brigade is going to be our new go-to detachment. And it's going to be epic and awesome and amazing. Anyway, now we've got over the sadness that platoons have gone, and that Guard has lost a lot of what makes it unique, let's have a look at command squads. So command squads are an elite choice as well now. Now you might be thinking, what is really the point in taking a command squad? Okay, what's the point? They haven't got any special rules that, they can look out serve for officers. That's true, but they do have some really interesting shit. So let's have a look at the stats first. Okay, so they're pretty standard veterans, okay? They have weapon skill 4+, ballistic skill 3+, strength, toughness 3, wounds 1, attacks 1, leadership 6, save 5+. You can have a heavy and a veteran heavy weapon team is the same, but it's got 2 wounds. Now, this unit, the command squad, only contains 4 veterans, and each model is armed with a lasgun and frag grenades. Now, you can see that the heavy flamer, the las pistol, the lasgun, the chainsaw, the frag grenade. That's all the stuff we've covered already. Let's look at the war gear options, guys. Okay, number 1. Any veteran may replace their lasgun with las pistol and chainsword. That's cool. I mean, you don't really need to, but that does mean back in the day when I was encouraging us all to run bare bones command squads, and to seriously consider the choppy command squad with the pistol and close combat weapon, you can now still do that, which is cool. 1 veteran may take a Voxcaster. 1 other veteran may take a lasgun with a heavy flamer. 1 other veteran will take a regimental standard. 1 other veteran may take a medipack, and 2 other veterans may form a veteran heavy weapon team. Any other veteran may replace their lasgun with an item from the Astra Militare Special Weapons Squad. So that's cool. Again, just nothing really changed there. Where it gets interesting is looking at the abilities. And that's the medipack. Okay. At the end of the movement phase, a model with a medipack can attempt to heal a single model. Select a friendly Astra Militarum infantry unit within 3 inches and roll a d6. On a 4+, 1 model in the unit recovers a wound it lost early in the battle. If the unit has a wound characteristic of 1, 1 model slain earlier in the battle is returned to the unit instead. A unit can only be the target of this ability once each turn. That's really cool, guys. And what you should be thinking to yourself is that command squads aren't really command squads anymore. Okay? Command squads are actually medic squads. Because think about it, you can have a couple of these squads. They're really cheap, guys. I mean, the medipack is only 10 points, so it's come down by 5 points. And you only pay for each veteran, which is 6 points. So 6 times 4 is 24 points. Slap a medpack in there, 34 points. Boom. That's it. For 34 points, you can have a roving medic. And it's not going to be absolutely balls out amazing, but it's also at the same time not going to be completely shit. I mean, it's kind of cool. You can just have your medics running around. You can spam these things. You can spam command squads with medics, and they'll be running around and they'll be healing stuff. And it's pretty cool. It applies to any infantry as well. This definitely synergizes well with Ogryns and Bulgrins. I mean, that means that if your Bulgrins start taking a hammer in, you have a couple of one of these squads just chilling out behind them, just helping them out. They can medic them. It's not game changing. It's not absolutely balls to the wall, fucktard amazing like the Platoon Commander, but it is decent. It is decent. Regimental standard. All friendly regiments add 1 to their leadership when they're within 6 inches of a veteran with the regimental standard. Cool. Basically, you lose 1 less guy to battle shock. Voxcaster. If a friendly officer is within 3 inches of a unit with a Voxcaster, when using their voice of command ability, you may extend the range of the order to 18 inches if the target unit also contains a Voxcaster. Fucking yes! Awesome. Finally, Voxcasters make sense. Guys, I see the return of the Voxcaster. It's only 5 points, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Can't really complain about it. 5 points, you can have. I mean, this again, it means you don't. This is with any Voxcaster. This ability works on on command squad Voxcasters, or if you've got a regular infantry squad, which we'll be looking at soon. If they've got a Voxcaster, your officer can also use their Vox. So command squads still have a place. If you want like cheap Voxes and cheap medics assisting your officer, then keep a little 4-man squad near him. It's a cheap way of doing it. In larger point games, when you're not so worried about points, I think you'll be able to essentially replace command squads with infantry squads and just have an infantry squad be your souped up command squad essentially. But yeah, these things are really cool. And one thing that should not be forgotten is the fact that, in fact, the more I think about it, this definitely should not be forgotten. Command squads fulfill a third purpose. So on the one hand, they can become roving medics. On the second hand, they can become a cheap startup point for your Voxcaster network. On the third hand, you can look at Voxcasters, at command squads and go, hang on, I'm not seeing a command squad here. I'm seeing a veteran special weapons squad. Guys, for 24 points, you get access to a squad that can take 4 special weapons and hit on a 3+ with every single one of them. What the hell is not to like? That is awesome. It's cheap and it's effective. And it takes up an elite slot, you know? It's not even taking up a particularly vital slot in the brigade detachment. You can take 9 of these fuckers, I believe. So bear that in mind, guys. The command squad is a really versatile unit. It's really good at supporting your line infantry, supporting your big bruisers, and becoming a deadly fire team. Now, the last thing I want to say is it's important for us to look at the kind of equipment that we can be giving our officers, like the platoon commander and the senior officer. Now, bolt pistols and bolt guns have remained 1 point each, so that's good. But the big winner here, guys, is the plasma pistol. Are you ready for it, guys? The plasma pistol is now 5 points. Space Marines pay 7 points. We pay 5 points. Guys, Games Workshop has finally acknowledged that the Imperial Guard do not get as much mileage out of a plasma pistol as everyone else. Holy shiitake mushroom. That is awesome. Honestly, you now don't really have an excuse not to field plasma pistols, guys. Because your platoon commanders and your company commanders, they're all hitting on 3+. Yeah. I am glad that I saved all these plasma pistols that I've had for years. Plasma pistols are going to be awesome. Shotguns are going to be awesome. Bolters and bolt guns remain the same. But yeah, guys, just overall, plasma pistols being 5 points is fucking amazing. Cannot stress that enough. That is the big winner here, guys. That's for every sergeant. That's for every platoon commander, commissar, lord commissar, anyone who can grab one. Plasma pistol, 5 points. Awesome. So, guys, tell me what you think. Are you a bit disappointed in the massive ordnance like me, or am I missing something? Is the platoon commander as awesome as I think it is? And what do you guys think you're going to be doing in those command squads? You're going to be having veteran fire teams or roving medics, independent medics? I really want to know what you guys are thinking with these reveals, guys. That's literally the point of me putting these videos up. I'm putting the information out there. I want you guys to come back at me with what concoctions, what awesome combos and deadly devices you guys are coming up with. So please leave a comment, and thank you for watching, and I really hope you've enjoyed this video.